It looks like there's some expansion coming up with Jupiter, luck, abundance in your fourth house. That is your sense of stability, and it can be your home, your house, and your ancestry. So family is very strongly indicated here. So expect growth in this area. And look, this card says it's going to be even better than you can imagine. This is a bug living underground in the dark, and it doesn't realize it is about to turn into this magnificent dragonfly and leave the earth element where it's been crawling around and actually take flight with this beautiful rainbow wings. So you can see it is quite a transition that the dragonfly makes. And this is what seems to be ahead for you in the realm of, loosely speaking, your home, your house, real estate, or your just sense of personal roots and security, stability. So what does the universe want to tell you about this? Let's take a look. Wow, okay. Well, you might have a decision to make. You might be weighing things up here, a couple of options, or just trying to make a decision, especially about practical matters. There is expansion here, and maybe overseas travel is indicated, or just news coming in hot that has you kind of going, wow, what am I going to do here? It seems to be related about this. Now, this might be a carried on reading from my last really long reading. Queen of Swords in reverse came out there as well. This is a female energy that is overly defensive and really overreacts and is very cold and critical, very defensive. And King of Cups in reverse. Now this is somebody who's a lover, who wants to really get into the realm of emotions, but it feels like has not been treated well, or these two are just, they're not a great pair because they're both in reverse. So this could be emotional manipulation. It could be like feeling emotionally withholding. Like this is a very unhappy couple by the looks of it. There's a mismatch in the elements there that is watery emotion and cold detachment of, just thinking and cerebral activity. So if either of these energies kind of relate to you, and you might have been triggered into this behavior by each other, it's not to say that this is who you are always, but sometimes relationships have a chemical reaction. It's like you add two elements together and they create this third dynamic. And in astrology, that is a composite chart. So you can actually cast a chart of both people's planets at midpoints and create a whole new entity, and that is the relationship astrology chart. And that it can reveal a lot of tensions that a couple would not necessarily feel with other people. But when two people combine or collide, it can bring out unseen forces within each of them. So you might be just you might have just experienced that yourself, and there is a new stability on the way for you. It seems to be what this message is about. So let's grab a few. No, not this card. All right, 6 cards from my romance deck, Messengers of the Heart. Let's see what guidance or information this has to say. Okay, well, this is a very interesting mix of cards here because, just like I said, those two energies did not get on well at that time. There was a battle of wits that you may have been in, and it seems to have brought out the worst in both of you. Now, there is a lot of beauty there, a lot of sexual attraction, a lot of just glamour and being entranced, one of you by the other or both of you for each other. Very sexy vibe. But there was a pedestal involved here. So someone felt more elevated than the other. So take it as it resonates for you. If there was a mismatch in energy, one of you might have felt a bit more needy than the other. And one of you might have felt like the power was with the other person. Now, you might be compulsively watching each other online or somehow trying to maintain some knowledge, some information there, watching your social media to try and figure you out. Or there might have just been a lot of very close studying of each other, trying to get this battle of wits. There might have been a lot of over-interpretation of what was going on and deriving so much meaning from small clues that might have been not quite right. So it is very unusual energy. This does feel like a follow-on from my previous reading, so go and look for that if you need to. There is the grief card here, grieving, so it does feel like there's a lot of pain involved in this situation and some coldness here that one or both of you may be feeling. It does feel like there was a breakup or there was a climax of pain, if you like. Now there is the fairy tale element here. So let's find out what this is about, because remember, there is a big transformation coming one way or another that's going to be better than you imagine, and it's going to bring you a lot more expansion of your home base in life, whether physically or metaphorically. But let's find out, what do you need to know about this fairy tale? Is it delusional? Is it pedestal related? Or is there some kind of miracle afoot? Let's grab this deck of cards and see what is coming up here, especially relating to this fairy tale. Yep, there is a message of love or an apology that could be coming in. That is the card of apologies, and cups is emotional romance. So can you believe this fairy tale? What does the universe want you to know about this apology? Yeah, so if this is an apology, then things can take a dramatic turn, because yes, you have accumulated 10 swords of misery and pain, but that is the most you can accumulate. This is rock bottom, and again, we have the new day dawning here, and it's going to lead straight to the 10 of cups. Joy. This is the most joy that you can accumulate, and it does specifically relate to being in a relationship. It's with other people, not the joy that you find or the self-satisfaction of being a single person. This does feel like a committed relationship here. So it's going from the ridiculous to the sublime. And there is this change coming that is going to ground everything. The roots of your life really moving into fresh territory that is a lot more fertile and stable. So yes, there is something to let go of here, the ending of a cycle. So maybe you can figure out your codependency issues together and figure out how and why you trigger each other so badly to, both be upside down, and you can put that to the past and start a brand new cycle together. It will take commitment, it will take boundaries, it will take energetic work, high energy, passion to knock down all these obstacles that stand between you coming together and being a happy couple together. But there is so much hope and good fortune with the star card around the future that can happen here. So it feels like a very sudden reversal, like a fairy tale ending that comes out of nowhere. Let's grab a few picture cards here to take a bit of a look, just to verify what we're seeing here. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, there's spilt milk there. There has been a lot of pain. There have been a lot of upsets to deal with, and you may have felt humiliated, stuck, imprisoned, just in really bad shape here. there is very vulnerable, so caught in the stocks with people pelting you with fruit. That was the old days. Very uncomfortable, unhappy place to be. It's abusive even, finding fault, punishment, humiliation is a part of it as well. So those two cards, you know, seem to emphasize the pain and grief of what's happened in the past. And so here is the opportunity, 50-50. There is a coin toss. Now, look, it just really does seem to be reiterating there's a choice here for some reason. So let's look at the choice, the coin toss, the weighing something up. Have you seen another option along the way? Have you expanded your mind to the point where maybe you don't want to go back and give this another try? What is the nature of this deliberation? So on one hand, there is all this unmitigated happiness. On the other hand, this did come out in reverse, but I'm taking it this way. This is the misery, the memories of the misery of being left out in the cold, of being alone, forsaken in the snow like a beggar, versus the sun being out, the happiness and the joy. Maybe there was something just a little bit bipolar, if you like, about this relationship, and you are again weighing up whether or not you can find balance within you as a couple. Let's grab some energy for you to lean away from and energy for you to lean towards. So lean away from self-imposed victimhood. So this is where your own fears imprison you and trap you, and maybe your own negativity about yourself, especially if you put your partner on a pedestal, may have caused issues. So, or, you know, for some reason, this is more imagined issues than real issues. But there is this fear of being trapped. So lean away from this kind of negativity, especially if it's your own thoughts about what you deserve and whether or not you can get past it. You might be trapped by your own fears rather than by the reality of the situation. Instead, lean towards having difficult discussions, Page of Swords. Also, curiosity and the willingness to have conversations about what matters, to really explore things in depth, because the Page is very young and naive in the ways of ideas and thoughts with swords. So they've got a lot to learn. So don't go into this expecting that you know everything there is to know. There is a lot to learn here. So just bear that in mind. Try and be open and curious to learn new things that you didn't already know about a partner. Maybe get rid of some assumptions here, or at least communicate your assumptions so that you can be open and honest about them. And I do usually see the Page of Swords as quite a painful or difficult conversation. So lean into that, lean into the tough talk. And it feels like boundaries as well, like what you will and won't tolerate. Because your goal, if you get back together, is to both of you to become upright rather than acting in your most defensive ways. All right, what else does the universe want you to know? Just to finish up here. Fear again, loss and lack, this victim mentality of being left out in the snow. That seems to be a very big theme here. It's come out again. So this is casting a shadow over your relationship, and both of you might feel this loss or lack from each other, and it just spirals you into, you know, from being upright in your own lives to, as a couple, being upside down and at odds. So that is a really important energy to bring to light so you can deal with it. Your fears, your feeling of being victimized by the other person, if this resonates for you. Well, you will have assistance here. You will have angelic support and guidance. You might intuitively tap in and get an understanding of what you need to know, the topics you need to discuss. The right words might come to you at the right moment, and things might illuminate for you quite suddenly. It just feels like a light comes on here. I've never got that from this card before, but my eye was just really drawn to this illumination appearing quite suddenly, and loving support. So you might feel very supported by your angels or by friends, by yourself even. You might find a lot more self-love through this. Remember that the outcome, this is about a situation that is going to turn from the worst kind of underground misery to the most beautiful flight into new territory. And the topic is about expanding your roots, your sense of self, your sense of self-confidence. Wow, you are about to shine. So this is about really getting past your fears so that you can glow. So you are going to attract through glow. This is a major emotional glow up for you. There is just going to be such beauty coming for you here. I love the fact that these are 2 cards about glowing and shining and attracting the right things in. More glow, so about the angelic assistance here. I can't help but wonder what the turning point is here. Why? What changes so dramatically? So let's look at you and let's look at them and just see what is happening here. So for you, you might be really tapping into your intuition here, but you're doing a lot of thinking about your own sense of stability. This 4th house, again, Mercury is all about thoughts. It's also about communication, conversation. So having real conversations about what makes you feel secure and your home life, your domestic situation, that seems to be important here. But yes, you might get intuitive guidance that helps you navigate this process. And for them, they are really understanding the emotional value of this companionship with you. That is the moon, which is love and emotions, in the 7th house of committed relationships. So maybe whatever has happened between you has been a big wake-up call for you both. It's given you a bit of a fright or a jolt so that you can work on your own stability and really get things on track so that you can both go from being in reverse and bring out the worst in each other to really bringing out the best in each other, turning yourselves upright as a couple. So I hope that helps you, my darlings. If you would like your own personal reading, go to my website, abundancelovejoy.com. But meanwhile, this is Sarah wishing you much abundance, love, and joy.